And just want to introduce him today. So welcome, Frank, and let you take the lead.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, welcome everybody. And still, I hear a lot of times that still can hear. So happy New Year also for everybody. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. It's a fantastic club. What I saw already from what I saw today, and also of course the information that I got on the internet, but especially with the people that I talked to when they came to me. I was very enthusiastic in the beginning already because I followed the MLS already a little bit longer, and when a club comes like Atlanta United, he has to be interested, and I was directly interested, and especially the philosophy of the club, the structure of the club, the core values, but for me is a very important issue. Everything was really fitted to me personally, and of course the ambition that they have. They just started 2 years ago in MLS, and what they already achieved right now, it's incredible. So they have to do something good here. So, and that from the start I had that feeling that I can focus on the one thing that I'm very good at, and that's the football side. Of course, managing side is also very important as a manager, as a first coach, but still, the number one thing is what you see on the field, and that I want to show to everybody. And again, I'm very excited to start. I'm very proud to be here to continue this dream that the owner Arthur Blank has, and so for me, I want to continue that, and hopefully we're gonna have some great years ahead of us. And of course, what Carlos already said, it's a different year this year. Everybody expects a lot of Atlanta United. That's normal when you're champions. But also the CONCACAF Champions League, we have to play, and now all other. So it's going to be a whole different year, not only for the club itself, but especially for the players. And we have to prepare them as good as possible, and that's why I'm here for. And we have a fantastic staff around, not only the technical staff, but all people around what I saw right now already. So I have a lot of confidence that we're going to hopefully have a great season. So thank you very much to Arthur and the club for giving me this opportunity.
Just a couple things to follow up on. Finalizing Frank's technical staff, Bob DeClercq and Orlando Trustful will be brought in as 2 assistant coaches. There will be a press release going out a little bit after this press conference, I believe, to inform you guys of that update, and we will have probably 1 or 2 more updates by the end of the week to round out the staff.
Thanks. We'll open up for questions now. Felipe.
Hello, welcome. Felipe Cardenas with The Athletic. This question is for the manager, Frank de Boer. To Carlos's point, and to your point as well, lots of games to be played, different year, lots of tournaments. You've evaluated the current roster, and you've been in this position before where you've won successive championships. So how do you look at a dominant MLS team like Atlanta United, and how do you make them better? And then, do you feel like you have the depth in the squad to confront all of it, like the 4 championships? Will you be prioritizing the Champions League?
First of all, I think we have the depth in the squad. I think that they already showed that last season that they played a lot of times with different players also. So that point I think we have covered. On the other side, we're going to play a lot more games, and it's a big task for the technical staff, but also especially for the medical staff to prepare those players as well as possible, that they can play those every 3-4 days a game, on the highest level. Because, and of course we have to prepare them mentally for that, and it's also a responsibility for the players themselves to prepare themselves well. So this period, the pre-season, is very important for us, that they understand, hey, this is so important to the rest of the season. So if you're not ready for in pre-season, it's hard to catch up because you don't have really time to really train and get stronger, because every 3 days you have a game. So so this period of 5 weeks for the CONCACAF Champions League game is very important for all of us. So we are really focused on that right now.
Hello, Frank. Welcome to Atlanta. I'm Alex
Thank
Rossetti
you.
with the Soccer Examiner. Your last two appointments at Eaton and Crystal Palace, you inherited a situation that was less than ideal with both clubs.
Yeah.
Can you explain your mindset, how you're coming into a championship winning club?
Now, of course, what I already said, you know, the structure and every organization is so good here, so I can really focus on one thing, and that's the football side, and not to worry about other things. And of course, you know, when you're going to Crystal Palace or Inter, they were in tough periods, right, bad weather at that moment. So you want to get as soon as possible in the positive vibe. Now here already, you know, the positive vibe is here, and we want to use that, of course, with all the people that we have here, especially the players, that they continue to have that feeling, because confidence and positive vibe improve your performance. So yeah, we're gonna use that, but still we have to realize what I already said. It's going to be a different year, and everybody's looking towards us. We are the champions, and maybe we have to dominate even more the games. They think, okay, you're the champion, so you're going to make the game happen, and that's maybe a different approach, and we have to learn and during the season, but also already prepare them for that.
Joe, second row in the center.
Hi, Joe Patrick, MLSsoccer.com. You come from some of the richest footballing soil that exists in the world, so I'm just kind of wondering what players you've played with or coaches that you've managed with have kind of influenced you as a manager in your career.
No, as a manager, it's especially, of course, Louis van Gaal, because he was already my trainer when I was in the second team or in the under-19s in the academy. And then, of course, he went to be the head coach of Ajax Amsterdam, and I was like 7 years involved with him, and then of course I followed him to Barcelona. So he's a very big influential in me, how I think, because he's also the type of person what you expect on the training field, but also on the game itself. And but also other coaches like Guus Hiddink, who is, you know, really more the managing type of coach, and Louis van Gaal is more, you know, the guy on the training pitch. But yeah, Frank Rijkaard, you know, he had a small period. It was at the Dutch team. I learned a lot of him for a coach. As a football player, yeah, for me, you know, like Danny Blind, he was one, and Frank Rijkaard when we played and when we won the Champions League, of course, in '95. Pep Guardiola, you know, was the same age, but he was already the captain of Barcelona when I came. So those players, you know, we had a very good understanding, and also thinking a little bit the same how we think how the game should play.
Open. Chip, or sorry, Cody.
Coach, do you have any experience in the city of Atlanta, first of all, and then when did Atlanta United, when did you first hear about this team?
All right, what I said, you know, I followed the MLS already a few years, and you know, of course, for example, when Zlatan comes to the United States, because I'm a very big admirer of Zlatan, also of Wayne Rooney, you're gonna follow those guys, of course, but then you also see, you know, what's more, not only there is Zlatan or Wayne Rooney, you know, there's more, you know, players that you that player also plays there, and so you also cross then to Atlanta United. So yeah, then you already see, you know, they played in a fantastic stadium. We talk to each other. Of course, first it goes via with my agent. Of course, hey, Atlanta United can be maybe interested in you, and then okay, then I have to say, okay, am I interested or not? And I have directly a good feeling, because what I already said, MLS is an upcoming star in the leagues, I think. So they already proved that last season, also with the attendance of the fans and everything. So, and also the quality is rising every year, and so I want to be part of that. The contract, what I already said, you know, started with my agent, then I had a good feeling about it, and we talked in London with Carlos and Darren. like 2 or 3 hours we were sitting there in the hotel. Straightly, I think both sides had a good feeling about it. And then I think 1.5 months or 1 month ago, I visited the training ground, I visited the stadium, I visited the office where the owner, Arthur Blanc, was working. I met him with Josh, his son. I think it was also a very nice and comfortable meeting. And yeah, at the end, they decided to go for me, and I was very proud and yeah, eager to start. I had also other options, but I said directly to my agent, I have such a good feeling here that I can really do what I think I'm good at, and so that's why I chose Atlantic United. And again, you know, they started fantastic the last 2 years, and hopefully we can continue that process.
On the right.
Frank, Mark Bradley from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. You come from, your background is the Ajax Barcelona sort of possession style. Do you see yourself bringing that style to the Atlanta United team that Martino had that was a little bit different from that?
Of course, you know, the style of play depends, you know, what kind of type of players you have in the squad. You can play 1-4-3-3-3. If you don't have the players for that, it should be foolish to play that kind of style. And I think Tito Martinez saw that, and Tata Martinez saw that. So, you know, I have to still experience the players themselves. The first 1 or 2 weeks is very good for that, and then we're gonna decide, of course, how we want to play. Of course, everybody wants to play dominant football. I like that kind of style, so if we can do that, we sure gonna do that. But still, I have to see, you know, what's the most possibility to win games, because at the end it's all about those 3 points. And of course, we want to make it attractive as possible for the fans and everything. But at the end, the fans also want us to win. So it's a combination of those two, and we're gonna try to entertain our fans, but also to win. And yeah, and if we have to choose, I'm always choosing for winning.
Go to Paul on the left. Cody, can you try something like that?
Hi, Frank. Paul Newberry from Associated Press. After the last 2 coaching tenures you had, obviously you didn't get much of a chance and didn't go like you wanted. What do you think you learned from those 2 experiences you can bring to this coaching job? And also, does this feel like even a bit of a chance at redemption for you after what happened at Crystal and Inter?
Of course, it's a little bit revenge of redemption, but still, of course, you have to learn, you know, from your mistakes yourself, but also about organization that aren't good at organized as and structured like Atlantic United. Yeah, for example, you know, there was no, how do you call it, cohesion between all the departments, and it was everything separate. And now you have the feeling, okay, you know, I don't have to look around, or in Holland we say there comes a dead body in the closet or behind the closet or something like that. No, everything is very clear and structured, and so for me that's so much easier. And what I said, you know, I can focus on the first team, and this 5.5 season that I was working with Ajax as a head coach. Of course, 4.5 years. Therefore, I was trainer of the academy. It cost me less energy than in like the 8 months of Inter and Crystal Palace, and I already started to get gray hair. So I want that positive vibe and keep it still when it's there, and so that's one thing I'm looking really forward to, you know, so what I can focus on the things that I'm really good at. And of course, you know, it's part of the job, but when you only have to focus on that things that, you know, it's, of course, it's influencing, you know, what's happening on the field, but still it's not the most important thing. But I have to take care of that because everybody, you know, wants to follow you. And if you want to change that structure, it takes time, and you cannot fix that in 2 months or 3 months, or at least it takes 6 months of that. I didn't get the time that, but it was a good learning experience. And again, I think I'm a better person now, I'm a better manager, I'm a better coach now, so than I was 1 or 2 years ago.
Thank you, Joe.
Frank, you've talked about coaching with the Ajax youth setup, and I'm just wondering how hands-on you'll be with the Atlanta United Academy, the Atlanta United 2 team, and if you talked to Tony about kind of how it will go down between his role and your role.
I think that is one also the aspect that they chose me, because I have, of course, that relationship that I had at Ajax with the academy. They also want me to have that here. Of course, the first team and the performance of the first team is the most important thing, but I will not hesitate when a young player, I can let him debut because I think he's up to it. And when you're young and you're ready, I'm not hesitating to put you in the first team. I did it with Ajax. I did it also with Crystal Palace, and because at the end, you have to see, okay, what's the perspective of that guy, and if you need minutes, to really know that player when he comes in the first team, but also he needs that experience, and I will give it them when they are ready. That's for sure.
Okay.
This question is for Carlos, actually. First question is, can you comment at all on P.T. Martinez as far as his future here at Atlanta United? And the second question is, you mentioned in the past that when you guys are actually recruiting players and looking for the fit and the profile, the manager sometimes kind of comes in at the end of the process. Will that continue with Frank, or will that change at all?
Yeah, so I'll answer your second one first. Definitely when we're scouting players, the manager can't be looking at the 10s, 20s of players for each position that come through. So we have a process here, we have a scouting department, it filters up, and then we get down the line, and once it comes to someone, down to a few players, that's when the manager, Frank, will be brought in to discuss, is this someone that we feel fits your needs? Is this the type of player you like? And we want to make sure that he's on board with the player as well. So that won't change. Frank and I have already been having discussions about stuff like that as well. As far as Pitti, obviously there's been tons of rumors out there about it. We have our team set right now. Doesn't mean new players can't come in or out. So, we have a lot of time for roster compliance until March 1st. And in soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, there's always moving pieces, and there's always rumors in the transfer window.
Paul?
For Frank and Carlos, if you want to comment on this, obviously with the Champions League throws a new wrench into this season, at least in the early part of the season. Do you prioritize that as kind of at some point you do have to kind of decide guys have to be rested, and is the Champions League, at least in the first half of the season, the priority going forward?
Of course, you want to go as far as possible in the Champions League, that's for sure. And we will also want to be, of course, the first US team MLS team who can really win the CONCACAF Champions League. It should be great for the club. It's going to be hard because normally the Mexican always dominate, but the time comes closer that one MLS team will win it, and hopefully we're going to do that. And of course, we have to take care of, because you're going to make a lot of long flights. So the periodization for all players we have to take very carefully, and some older players have to even more carefully about. But we have a good head of performance, and so I'm confident that it will settle well.
And just to touch on that, over the past few years we've been trying to build up depth because we want to be competitive in both sides. We obviously want to win the Champions League, but we want to do well in the league as well. So over the past few years we've been building up to, if we qualify for the CONCACAF Champions League, that we have a deep enough squad for the manager to choose from.
Here on the right.
Hey, I'm JR from the People Station V103. We all know Atlanta is all about community. We've seen the support, especially coming off of the championship. What are your thoughts on the city of Atlanta, as well as the fans and the fan support?
Yeah, it's amazing, how the fans are, and I think a big role was our owner Artur Blank has had a big influence in that, because maybe the community is the first priority, and then the football. But yeah, I like that kind of approach, because at the end we do it for the supporters, the fans, and what I do and what I show, they really are the 12 men behind the team, and yeah, I'm looking really forward to play our first game, home game, with the fanatic fans. So yeah, Atlanta is a fantastic city. All cultures are there. Of course, I have to really know every area of the Atlanta, but still, what I saw right now, yeah, I'm really happy that I'm choosing this city, because right now I'm feeling great.
Last one in English, Wes up top.
Frank, Wes Blankenship with NBC, 11 Alive here in Atlanta. What are some of the boilerplate things that you've seen that Martino had with this club that made it successful, but some of the things also that you hope to do specifically to put your own mark on this club and make it better?
Again, Tata did a fantastic job. After 2 years, he won the MLS Cup. It's yeah, you have to be very humble, towards him, because yeah, that's not an easy case. So I will not, try to change directly everything, because what's good is good, and of course, what I think we can change, the hardware is there, and we're gonna update it a little bit, but not to really, change it a lot. And there's some small items that I will first tell our squad, and then maybe to the television.
Got a couple in Spanish, and I think one in Dutch as well. Alfredo, you want to start us here?
Alfredo Suárez, Mundo Hispánico, ante todo, bienvenido a la ciudad. Frank, ¿cuáles son tus expectativas con el equipo y cómo te ha recibido parte de los jugadores?
Todavía no ha recibido, fue fantástico, también con los fans que yo encontraron en la ciudad. El resto, los jugadores, hoy he tenido un test médico, son en el hospital, todavía no están. Mañana todos los jugadores están aquí. Después podemos dar los saludos y podemos empezar, pero que yo he visto en el Y-Scout, es un programa que tú puedes ver todos los partidos. Yo tengo mucha confianza en estos jugadores. Yo he hablado con algunos jugadores y la mentalidad, el ambiente dentro de los jugadores está muy bien. Ok, ellos han ganado, el ambiente será bien, es normal, y queremos guardar este ambiente.
Hola, bienvenido a Atlanta.
Hola.
Rosy Cantú del periódico La Visión. ¿Ha pensado en traer algunos jugadores europeos o dar también un vistazo a las ligas de Latinoamérica?
Sí, y cuando hay una posibilidad para tener un jugador europeo y él puede, ¿cómo se dice? Ser una reinforcement for the club.
Un refuerzo.
Refuerzo por el club. Yo voy a hacerlo, pero todavía yo creo ellos han demostrado que han hecho un buen trabajo para elegir sus jugadores como Almirón, Martínez, y yo tengo mucha confianza en Carlos y el resto de su equipo para transferir jugadores muy buenos para Atlantic United, y muchos son de Sudamérica, y porque es una mentalidad, yo creo que es muy buena para esta liga.
I'll ask three, Juan Carlos, Hector, and then Danilo. Juan Carlos, you want to start?
Yeah. Juan Carlos Brando para Vida Atlanta, Conexión Deportiva. Una de las preguntas era si pensaba traer algún jugador holandés, especialmente porque en el pasado vimos a jugadores como Greg Garza, que
estaba como carrilero
Sí.
izquierdo y no sabemos pues si se ha hecho alguna sustitución, si tiene alguien en mente para esa posición. ¿Y cómo ve la posibilidad de mantener a jugadores que han sido importantes en el equipo, como Miguel Almirón, Piti Martínez, que viene llegando, Joseph Martínez, Tito Villalba y especialmente Ezequiel Barco, por quien se hizo una contratación de una cantidad importante el año pasado?
Sí, el primero era aquí, jugadores de Holanda. Todavía no tengo ningún jugador que yo pueda mejorar el equipo de Holanda y también es un designated player, so tenemos que estar muy serio para mirar en esta cosa porque no es fácil. Después, ahora yo creo tenemos un buen equipo, no tenemos que transferir mucho otros jugadores y como los jugadores que eran muy importantes el año pasado, como Joseph o Miguel, y yo creo que ellos están en buena forma y también tienen mucha confianza y yo quiero utilizar porque la confianza quizás es lo más importante para un jugador y para cuando juega no tiene que pensar y ellos tienen ahora esta sensación, yo quiero guardar para mis jugadores y todos tienen muchos talentos y todavía yo creo que pueden mejorar porque son muy jóvenes todavía y cada día tú puedes mejorar, no solo durante un partido, también aquí en el entrenamiento. Tengo muchas ganas para conocer los jugadores, y no solo los suramericanos, pero también los americanos que están aquí.
Frank, Héctor Severín de Telemundo Atlanta. Tu periodo de mayor éxito fue con el Ajax, tanto como jugador como director técnico. ¿Qué similitudes ves entre estos dos clubes, el Ajax y el Atlanta United?
Aquí también, ahora el Atlanta United es un club muy joven, pero quiero tener una estructura muy sólida y hemos tenido también en Ajax Amsterdam. Siempre queremos jugar cuando es posible con jugadores de académica y también dar las posibilidades para ellos. Y también ahora empieza aquí también, tenemos sub-12, sub-13 y muchas otras. Y tenemos que realizar porque hemos empezado 2 años pasados. Significa dar tiempo, pero todavía yo creo es una filosofía un poco similar como Ajax. Y yo quiero hacerlo y también quiero ganar títulos y partidos, pero la estructura será casi lo mismo como en Ajax y hablar con los entrenadores de académica, de USL y también dar nuestra filosofía sobre entrenamiento, sobre los partidos a ellos, que como juegan últimamente el ideal será el sub-12 juega lo mismo estilo como el primer equipo y queremos formar aquí, pero dura tiempo. Mi primer objetivo será conocer los jugadores y después cuando todo está bien yo puedo fijar también en esta cosa.
Buenas, Danilo Linares, 102.1 FM, Conexión Deportiva. Bienvenido a Atlanta. El parado táctico del equipo, ¿lo haces como a ti te gusta o lo haces de acuerdo al rival?
Yo siempre tiene que tener mucho respeto al rival y siempre yo quiero jugar el estilo que yo quiero jugar, pero será 90% siempre lo mismo, pero quizás algunos detalles será diferente. Vamos a presionar o no, por ejemplo. Hay equipos que solo juegan balón largos cuando presan un poco. Vamos a presionar solo con los 3 atacantes. Cuando un equipo quiere construir desde atrás, ok, tú puedes también presionar con un mediocampista ofensivo. Estos son diferentes detalles, pero normalmente queremos jugar en lo mismo estilo.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for your time. We'll have Darren Eels up here, but that's it for Frank.